Hi, I'm Frankie, and I'm 9 years old. I started climbing mountains when I was just 3, and since then, I've already climbed over 900 mountains all around the world. I'm the youngest Brit to summit Mount Olympus in Greece. I've climbed Mount Toubkal, reached Everest Base Camp, and I've even completed the Wainwright's Challenge, not once, but twice. Now I'm on a mission to become the youngest person to climb the highest peak in every European country. Every climb has been a huge adventure, and along the way I've raised thousands for charities while breaking records. But this podcast isn't just about me. It's about other amazing people who do great things, who move the mountains in their own lives, just like I do. So what are you waiting for? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is Frankie Moves The Mountains, and you can move them too. Today I have someone very special for you. Like, extra special. Like, she'll probably have her own theme tune special. Her name is Lucy Boulter. Now, Lucy is a business communications expert, which means she knows all the fancy words, a music journalist, which means she knows all the cool bands, and she's even co-authoring a business book next year, which means she's basically famous, so watch the space. And you might be thinking, Frankie, what does any of that have to do with mountains? Well, absolutely nothing, except for the most important thing of all, because I met Lucy on a mountain. When I was only 5 years old, she joined one of my mum's group walks up Salfafell. She walked with us, smiled at us, didn't run away from us, and apparently liked us so much that she just never left. One day, she was Lucy, and the next, she was Aunty Lucy. That's what happens when mountains do their magic. Lucy is the person who believed in me before I even knew what believing meant. When I was 5, she said she saw big things coming for me, maybe even a book. Grown-ups are weirdly good at predicting things. She's the one who sits through my whole school Christmas play, 3 hours, just to hear me say one line. She's the one who gives me a hug after I win a fundraising award. She's the one cheering me on when I'm on stage talking to Ben Fogle. And she's even the one who stays calm after I get a tummy bug and throw up on a mountain. Not my finest moment. Now, here's the funny thing. Lucy wasn't sporty at all when she was little. Not even a tiny bit. But one day she looked out of her window, saw a fell, and thought, well, it's there, so I might as well climb it. And then she climbed another, and loads more with me. And as her list of summits grew, so did our friendship. We've walked in rain and sunshine. We've seen cloud inversions and sunsets. We've even walked by torchlight, which was not the plan, but it makes a great story now. So here's your warning. If you ever climb a mountain, be careful. You might catch the hiking bug. And you might accidentally pick up an auntie too. Please welcome my mountain auntie, my word wizard friend, and one of my favourite humans on earth, Lucy Boulter. Frankie Moves The Mountains, proudly brought to you by Axiom Joint Venture. Right, thank you so much for coming, Lucy. First thing, can you just tell everyone a bit about yourself?
Well, I don't think I could tell you anything that would come close to what you've just said. Thank you so much. Honestly, you'll have me in tears. It has been an amazing journey, you and me. It's a very, very important friendship to me too. And I think you've said everything you could possibly tell about me. You've sort of talked about what I do for a living, but also how we met. And it'd be nice, perhaps we'll explore some of those stories a little bit as we chat over the next few minutes.
Once you told me that there's a list of Wainwrights that you don't want to do. Can you just tell everyone that?
Oh dear. Well, when I started climbing the Wainwrights, and you're quite right, it was a very accidental thing. I did see one and thought, I'm going to go and see what all the fuss is about. And that was Lattrig. It was only a little one, although to me it was the biggest thing. And lots of people had said to me, you can drive most of the way up. And I said, no, this will be the only one I ever climb, so I'm going to do it properly. So I did. I climbed from the bottom, and I got to the top and realised that That was a really amazing place and I needed to do it again. So then I thought, gosh, maybe I'll do all 214 Wainwrights. That would be incredible. And if I do, I'm even going to have a little 2-on-4 tattooed somewhere, just tiny on the end of my thumb or something like that. So I can always see it. And it would always remind me I can do things I didn't think I could do. However, the more I learn about my skills and my capabilities, and the more I learn about the fells, the more I realise I might not ever get to 2-on-4.
But I'll drag you up then.
Well, you might. Okay, so there are probably...
I definitely will.
Well, there are probably a dozen that I think... Do you know what, Frankie? You know, you've climbed with me enough. You know what I'm like. I could probably get up all of them. It's whether or not I could get back down that I think I'd have the problem. So it's things like Great Gable. Great Gable's always the one that I've looked at and thought, no. How about no? Yew Barrow, which I know you love, but the reason I know and you love it because of all of the scrambling and the rocks and all of that.
Let me guess, you hate it.
Yeah, well, I've never been up it, but I'm pretty sure I'd have to live up there. I'm pretty sure if I got to the top of Yew Barrow or Kirk Fell or some of those really, really big ones, and not even because they're big. Do you know the other one that scares me?
Steeple.
Because coming back down, that feeling of the path then becoming part of the, where it falls away, and people say to me, "Oh, it's not that bad," and I think, yeah, but if I get up there.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, but if I get up there and I can't... It's not a great place to...
Call mountain rescue, that's all.
Well, that's not really what they're for. It's just... I listened to your podcast with Richard Warren the other day, and I'm fairly sure if he thought you were sitting saying, use mountain rescue as a taxi service, he might have something to say. Helicopter down would be good though, wouldn't it? Do you think you could even land a helicopter on the top of Steeple? I suspect there isn't space.
I mean, yes, but half of it will... Well, I mean, no.
They'd have to winch me up. And you know, I'm not a tiny woman. I don't know how I haul myself up a mountain sometimes. I don't think they'd want to winch me. Anyway.
They could hang you by your necklace.
Yes. Well, I won't be wearing this on a fell. So, yes, I do have a list of maybe a dozen fells that I think, well, yeah, there's a small list of ones I think I'll never do. And then there's a list of, I'm not sure, they look a bit hard work, but we'll see. And you know what? I'll just have to come down on my bum. And it won't be the first time I've come down a fell on my bum, sometimes deliberately.
Yeah. I still remember the first time that we went on a walk together, and it was up south of Fell, was it?
It was.
And you were really nervous. You nearly went out. You nearly unsigned the day before it.
Do you know the?
And you kind of came out of your shell, didn't you? Can you just tell everyone a bit about that?
Well, I'm not shy with people, but I am quite. I certainly know that my limitations are quite physical. You were saying about me not being a sporty child, and I really, really wasn't. Can I tell you two little childhood memories that I was thinking about?
Yeah.
One is when I was about the age you were when we first met, so 5 or 6, and I was a really bookish child. I liked reading, and I was quite known in the school for being the bookworm and having to go up to the big school to get more books and things like that. And I used to read in assembly, the school assembly. And I was so tiny that I had to stand on a chair, and the chair was on a desk, just so that the whole school hall could see me while I was doing the reading. I mean, you couldn't do that now, could you? Could you imagine health and safety and risk assessments to have a 5 or 6-year-old standing on a chair, on a desk, on the... But that was my thing. And I really didn't like sport at all. And my other school memory is, I bet you love Sports Day.
Love it.
I hated it. It was the worst day of the whole school year for me. And I'm not very coordinated, and I'm not fast, and I'm not physically adept or anything like that. And I especially hated the skipping race because I can't skip with a rope. I cannot do it. I cannot coordinate my hands and my feet and a rope. It's just, seriously, I'm going to end up on the floor. And they used to do this skipping race, and I hated it. And every other kid went running down the track with their rope. And I was still at the top trying to, hang on, flip rope over, step over it, flip rope over, step over it. And I can remember the headmaster, Mr. James, at the other end of the track shouting, "Run, Lucy, just run." And that was kind of how I was. So no, not sporty at all. And that's what I'm still like as an adult. Plus I've got a bit stiffer, and because I've never really done anything sporty. I was nearly 50 years old before I climbed up a mountain. So, sorry, back to your question. So I wasn't nervous about meeting people, but I was nervous about being the idiot in a group that couldn't quite do a basic walk. And the only reason that I didn't blow it out, as you say, on sign, is because I knew from your mum's posts on Facebook that you were in a campsite with virtually no phone signal. And I thought, that's just too rude. It's too rude of me to I wouldn't be a no-show. I couldn't just not turn up. So I thought, well, I'll drive over and maybe I'll say, look, I'm really sorry I can't make it today after all. But of course, once you're there, you think, oh, well, I'll do it.
Yeah, once you're there, you can't just say, oh, I'm not going.
Yeah, you can, but it's
You
really
can, but
hard to...
Yeah.
You just have to have a word with yourself at that point, don't you? And say, come on, you've got over here. You've met these people. And as you may or may not remember, I then walked with you again probably only 2 or 3 weeks later, and we did Green Crag.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, no, it's okay walking with a group.
Yeah.
But actually, I still worry. I still worry about walking in a group because I am the slow coach, and I am the one that's going to put so many pound coins into the apology jar because I keep saying, I'm sorry, I'm slow.
No, you're putting one in now. No, I'm making you put one in now. I'm literally making you put one in now.
Because I am the person that's always saying, I'm sorry, I'm so slow. I'm sorry, I'm so slow. I'm sorry,
you're not.
But it's really hard because you want to be... When you walk in a group, you want to feel like you're part of that little mini community and that you're keeping up with everyone.
And you are.
Do you know, my heart knows that, especially with you, because you are so good in a group walk. You look after everybody and you move around and you make sure everybody's happy and you make sure you chat with everyone, and you are the most extraordinary holder of gates I've ever met in my life.
Thank you.
But groups, mountain groups need more people like you to make people like me feel it's okay to be the slow coach or the scaredy cat or, the just daft woman at the back. We need more people like you.
Being honest, not trying to brag, that's never been me.
What's never been you?
Me
being at the back of the group. Oh, good Lord, no. Oh, no.
Lord, no.
Oh, no.
0% chance.
But you see, I was really like you as a kid in terms of the general sort of cheeky confidence. I liked doing school plays and, as I say, reading in assembly, and I wanted to be a writer. And at 13, I had my first newspaper article published because I'm like you. It didn't occur to me to wait till I was an adult. And like you say, if you're old enough, you're good enough. No, it's the other way around, isn't it? If you're good enough, you're old enough. Which way around is it? Frankie, what's your saying? If you're good enough, you're old enough. That's right. Yeah. So I was like that with, like public speaking or reading and, performing. But when it comes to sporty things, I know I'm at the back of the class. Anyway.
Why don't you like sport? I love it. Sports day is the best day of the year for me.
I like moving my body more now that I've got older. I do enjoy the sense of movement and the sense of achievement that comes with that. But I think for me, if ever I was going to do exercise, I'd be on a treadmill on my own, or, doing a workout in the gym on my own. I've never liked classes or group team sports. And it's the same reason I struggle a little bit in a group on a fell, because, at school, if I was in a netball team, sorry guys, I'll tell you now, we're going to lose because I'm not very good at this.
I'm quite good at sports day because last year I got we do 3 races, the sack race, the long distance and the sprint. I got first on the sack, like I always do. I'm just like... last year I got first on the cross country, long distance, and I got third on the dash.
There's two things I know to be true about you, Frankie, having been your honorary auntie for a few years now. One is that you're fearless, which is fantastic, and I can be fearless in some things, but certainly not in others. But the other thing I know about you is that you are genuinely talented and an all-rounder.
And competitive.
Well, do you know what? Provided you're not, unpleasant with it, there's nothing wrong at all with being competitive. And I think what I like about your competitiveness is that the person you most compete with is yourself. You're always wanting to be better than you've been up until now, and that's really healthy. But what I mean when I say you're an all-rounder is I also see your school reports, and I also see you on stage in your school hall and things like that. And I've sat with you doing spelling tests, practicing for spelling tests at home.
Yeah.
So I know that you're not just a one-trick pony and all you're really good at physical things. You're bright as well, and you work hard at school, and you apply yourself, and you're really trying to be the best you can be in every aspect of life. And that is really, really admirable.
I remember once on a school sports day, there was a hole in my sack because I got the last sack. And then my foot came out, but I was still jumping. And then the team that was next to our team was shouting cheater. And then I just started shouting back sore losers.
Wow. Yeah, maybe they were. I'm not sure if
'Cause
that helps you or trips you over, having a hole in your sack. But anyway.
No, but literally my foot was coming halfway out the bottom. And then, but they saw I was still jumping. So.
I know. Sometimes life's not very fair, and sometimes people say things that aren't quite just or true, and sometimes you have to stand up for yourself, and sometimes you have to say, I'm just going to let that go. Let people think what they want to think, as long as you know the truth, as long as you know you're being honest and, decent and acting with integrity. Let other people think what they want.
Yeah. What's your least favourite Wainwright and why?
Least favourite? Well, I haven't done very many yet, I've done 89. Which of those, I can't tell you which is my least favourite of any of them because I can't comment on the ones I haven't climbed. I think your mum's going to know which one I'm going to say.
Which one?
The day your mum said, "Don't worry, there's a path over here," and then brought me down what appeared to anyone else to be a waterfall. Middlefell.
Oh.
If that's a path, I will eat my hat. But we got down. And I felt very proud of myself. But I have to say, that's not a fell I will go up again.
That was my last mountain, Middlefell.
Do you know, this is what you're always going to pull faces at me on this because you're going to say, but that was easy, that was little, that was whatever. But at the time, I just remember, I don't know how we got down the thing. It just felt like it was from a rock to a rock to a rock. And my legs hurt, and I was just so slow. And yeah, maybe, do you know what? When I've done some more, and maybe got a bit fitter and a bit stronger, you can take me up Middlefell again.
Whenever I get stronger, I'll throw you on my shoulders.
Well, that might be the way to do Great Gable as well. Yeah, give it 10 years and you're 6'2" or something, and you can just carry me back down that, because that does terrify me. If I ever do Great Gable, we can do the whole shooting match. If I can just do that one.
Children dream big. My dream is to climb to the top of Mount Everest. What was your biggest dream when you were a kid?
Oh, definitely to be a writer. Yeah, apparently when I was about 5, I was in a bookshop with my mum, and I informed her that my books would be on the shelves in there one day. Haven't done it yet. There's a book coming out next year, as you very kindly mentioned, which probably will never end up on the shelf of a bookshelf because very few do now, and nobody goes into bookshops very much anyway. But it'll be on a digital shelf. That's good enough.
Yeah.
And I still want to write novels one day as well.
What are novels?
Oh, sorry. Stories.
Oh,
So the
okay.
book I'm co-authoring with my...
Don't spoil it. I want to read it myself.
Well, no, I'm not going to... There's no spoilers to be said, but it's a business
Good.
book, so it's going to help people starting up new businesses. Bit like, some of the stuff that you and I did when you were starting to build the Frankie Moves the Mountains brand, and some of the things that we did with things like the magazines and that. So I'm helping with things like that. That's what the first book is. But I still want to write a book one day that is just a made-up story.
Yeah, I've never actually been into writing. It's like writing is my least favourite subject in school. Well, one of them.
But you have a very vivid imagination. I reckon you could tell some amazing stories. It's just the thought of sitting down and putting words on paper you don't like, is it?
Yeah. Just writing in general.
Well, I've been very, very lucky because that's what I dreamed to be.
This is how imaginative I am. Once I had a magical ride around Scotland in a wheelie bin, and a lion attacked me, but then a mermaid saved me, and then I teleported up a mountain, and then I did a backflip and landed on the bottom of the mountain and
Well, do you know, I
survived.
think with some really imaginative illustration, that could be a winner.
Biggest liar competition.
Oh, dear. No, but that's what I wanted to do, and I've been very lucky because I have pretty well made my living my whole adult life, one way or another, by dealing with words, working with words, writing words, and helping other people think about their words.
What was your favourite subject at school?
Oh, English.
What was your least favourite?
Other than sport, other than PE.
Yeah, that doesn't really count.
I'm not very good with maths, I must admit. Why are you pulling a face at me?
Sorry, but it's my favourite.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you know, I can add up fairly well.
Ask me any times table from the 1 to 12 times table. I'll answer it in 3 seconds.
Do you know,
max.
you've just brought a childhood memory to my mind, and I'm wondering whether to make a confession to you.
Make it.
Yeah, I think there's probably 1 or 2 people in the world know this. I have
Well, now there's going to be millions.
Well,
if millions of people
yeah, but
watch
you know
this.
what? Do you know, it's interesting how that things stick in your mind and they change how you become as an adult. I cheated at school once, and it was on a times table test. And I can still remember how much I hated myself and how awful I felt. And so when I was it was at infant school, so I'd have been, maybe 5. And my teacher was Mrs. Poley. She was lovely. And you had to go and stand by her desk and recite a times table. And if you got it all, she gave you a mint humbug.
What's a mint humbug?
Oh, sorry, a sweetie.
Oh.
And then you went off and she gave you the card for the next times
I would get
table.
loads of sweeties.
You'd get loads of sweeties. She'd give you next times table on a card and you'd go away and learn that. And then you would do the next one. And I did my 2 times table. That was fine. And then I was learning my 3 times table, but there was a little bit at the start. I think it was the jump from 9 to 12. 3 threes are 9, 4 threes are 12. I couldn't get it in my head. And I curled up this card in my hand for just that one jump that I couldn't work out. And I stood by her table and I'd got this card in my hand and I did my 3 times table and I did them all I knew them all except for this one I had to write down. Now, I'm pretty sure, as an adult, that Mrs. Poley knew perfectly well that I'd got that curled up in my hand. And I think she knew perfectly well that I would teach myself a better lesson by thinking I'd got away with it than if she told me off. And she never mentioned it, and she gave me the sweetie. And honestly, I could have choked on that sweetie because I knew I hadn't really earned it. And I never, ever cheated again. So there's my confession.
I've never cheated on a maths test.
Well, brilliant. And I hope you
on any test.
And I hope you never do, because I am now 55 years old, and 50 years ago I cheated to get my 3 times table, and it's still in my mind.
You're still kicking yourself for it.
cheating never, ever, ever pays. And the one reason I'm glad that I did it is because I now know that cheating never pays, because you don't feel like you've achieved anything. So what's the point? What is the point of cheating your way to success?
Yeah.
So there you go. You heard it here first. I have just confessed a dark, deep secret. Oh, poor 5-year-old me. I think I can forgive her now. No, you're not looking forgiving. Okay.
Right, so what was your greatest memory from your childhood? Close your eyes, and what is the first childhood memory which comes to your mind? You've got to close your eyes.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you see, because I've talked about that standing on the chair and the table to read, that I'm struggling to see past that. Oh, no, I know what I'll share with you, because it wasn't much different in age, because I think you'll like this story. We went on holiday one year to the Peak District, and I remember as a family we climbed a hill. It was called Thorpe Cloud, and it was about 500 feet. And I know you do metres and I don't, and I can't think what 500 feet is in metres, but it's about less than a quarter the height of Skiddaw. So it was really not very big. And in my defence, this was in the 1970s, and then in the 1970s, kids didn't have one pair of shoes for this activity and another pair of shoes for another. You had your school shoes and you did everything in your school shoes. So I did go up this grassy hill in my school shoes, which didn't feel particularly supportive or grippy. But I remember being so frightened of what I thought was steep that I dropped my hands down as well, and I went up part of this hill on my hands and feet. And I've seen a photograph of it since, and honestly, it's not steep. But to me, it felt like an absolute mountain. So that was a bit of a foresight into the future, wasn't it, of things that I would do 50 years later.
As this is Frankie Moves The Mountains podcast, I have to ask you this question. What's your favourite mountain and why?
It's the favourite mountain. Okay, definitely Blencathra. And the reasons why, well, so long before I ever thought of climbing a mountain, I used to drive past Blencathra every time I came up to the lakes, and it was the first mountain I could ever point to and say, I know what that's called, because it's so recognisable with the saddle shape coming in from the east. And so it was the only mountain in the whole of the Lake District that I could drive past and say, I know what that's called. And it never occurred to me that I would ever climb it. But it did feel like it was the thing that welcomed me when I drove back up to the lakes. And then when I started to climb them, and I thought, I will do Blencathra one day. But I know it's really big, so I won't do it it'll be a long time yet, but I will do it one day. And then, on a walk with you and your mum said something to me that really struck me. She said, well, the first 20 minutes of any climb is always the worst because your muscles are cold.
The first hour.
Well, yeah, a couple of hours for me, but anyway. But that first part of a walk is the hardest part because your muscles are cold. And I thought, well, if that's true, why am I only doing little mountains and little fells? Because if I've got to break through the worst part of it, why not then just carry on and go further? And within a couple of weeks of her saying that, I'd taken myself up Blencathra. And it was just brilliant. It was just the most amazing day.
Question for me. Is there any question you would like to ask me? Fire away.
Do you know what a rhetorical question is?
Yeah, it's a question that doesn't get answered.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want you to answer this, but I'm going to.
I might.
Well, do you know what? I want you to promise you'll ask yourself it every single day, forever, because it's this, and it's a question I used to ask my nephew whenever I took him to school, And I would always say to him, what can you do today to make yourself happy? And what can you do today to make someone else happy? And I
know that saying.
Well, I think if you can live with that, if you ask yourself that every morning, I guarantee you'll find a way that day to find a real moment of joy for yourself, but you'll also find a way that day to do something amazing for somebody else. And how could you have a more perfect day than a day when you've done something that you loved, but also you did something that made somebody else happy too?
Yeah, I always think of things when I'm at school that can maybe make people happy. So yeah.
Good.
Right.
Ask yourself that every day. And you know what, as well, at the end of the day, check in with yourself. Ask yourself the question, what did I do today to make myself happy?
Yeah, as a non-rhetorical question.
Absolutely. Because, it makes you accountable to yourself to be the best you can be every day. Be the best you can be every day.
Right, so finally, a quote or saying or little motto, what would it be?
Well, for the purposes of this podcast, which, as you say, is all about mountains, well, no, specifically it's Frankie in the mountains, I quite often say solvitur ambulando, which is Latin for it is solved by walking. Because, you never, ever, ever regret a walk, do you? You never regret a hike, and you always feel better for it. But my absolute favourite saying in life generally is by an author called J.M. Barrie, who wrote the children's classic Peter Pan. And he said, those who bring sunshine into the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. And it's the same sort of principle as that. What can you do today to make someone else happy? If you go through life, like you do, in my opinion, bringing sunshine into the lives of other people, you cannot help but have sunshine and happiness in your own life. And do you know what? I think your whole movement, the whole Frankie Moves the Mountains, all of the charity work that you do and all of the care that you give out to other people, that whole movement for me is the embodiment of that quote, because you work so hard to bring sunshine into the lives of other people. I am so convinced that is why you will have a life full of sunshine for yourself.
Right, thank you so much for coming, Aunty Lucy.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Frankie, this has been a joy. It's always a joy to spend time with you, and especially this has been really nice. Do you know what I've really loved? We don't normally have much of a conversation on a fell because I can't get my breath. So it's been really nice to sit down and just have a chat, just you and me. Thank you.
Thank you.